All right, YouTube, welcome back for another market analysis here for the London session. Again, we're going to be going through S&P 500, gold, and oil. Probably next week we'll add on NASDAQ for you guys so you guys can see that one as well. But let's get into it for tonight. We got some levels we're looking at on S&P 500 for the short sides and also for the long sides. Right now, we're gradually trying to climb. We were as high as, what is this, maybe 82.25, so 33.82.25. So we did try to measure the move up above from the London session into the US session into around 80 to 83, and potentially we can, if we continue in this uptrend, move as high as 90. But you could see we came into that level and we really started to fail that level. So 80, I would say 78 to 83 is going to be right around the resistance. You could have something lower if you guys want to, which is going to be somewhere right around here to try to analyze, which is probably going to be about 74 to 76 for maybe another opportunity to short. But our support should come in below somewhere right around that 55 to 56. We could probably move it up just a little bit, but we're going to leave it there because we had the lowest point. But if you want a little bit closer, you're probably looking at about 60. Markets right now at about 70, 50. So bouncing around this area, I would say between 73 to 75, again, will be the first opportunity to look to short. And what you're trying to look for basically is the markets to come into that level. So let it gradually pull into that level. Use it as some resistance as you come in. Should be some resistance rotations giving you an opportunity to try to press this thing down. Again, what you want to do in this sideways motion is sell high, buy low. So again, if you're looking to try to go long around here, you'll need to see a couple things, and we'll show you guys that on the 4-tick. But as of right now, if we press into 73 to 75, that's going to be my first opportunity to look to short, depending on if we get that opportunity in the London session. And then above that's going to be right between 80 to 83, 82 is going to be my next opportunity to try to short there. But we'll see what we get. Again, you can have the opportunity here if you get at least maybe 2 rotations here in this area as we gradually pull back, 2 try failure, maybe even a 3 try failure to move it back down into the support back below. All right, so still in a long-term uptrend on S&P 500, so you always want to keep that in mind. If we do drop down and we start to hold this level of some support right here, let me actually throw a horizontal line to see what level that is. That's going to be maybe about 65. If we start to hold 65 as some support, we're definitely probably going to see some upside movement. But we're just waiting patiently to see if the markets can get back to those levels, and then we can get the opportunity to look to try to short that. So we'll see. Definitely might play out in our direction, but we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at a 4-tick, give you guys a better idea of what we're looking at. So levels are the same pretty much. You guys can see we have a slight movement upward. We drew that with that little bit of a trend line. So making higher highs, higher lows within this movement. However, what we want to consider and keep in mind before we see anything else is that there's a potential for it to move back in from the actual impulse. So I'll show you guys what that looks like right now. Here, just because you see it slightly showing some resistance doesn't mean it's going to stop there. It could potentially try to move up into these areas right here. Right, this was a solid level of resistance, created some support, so markets could potentially try to move into that area, which again is going to be between 73 to 75 as an opportunity. So I would say because you're making micro higher highs and higher lows, I don't recommend trying to short it just yet. My opportunity is going to come when we move into that level. So again, we'll look something like this. We're going to gradually climb into it and then give the opportunity to have some rotations with resistance and try to press this thing down. My first take profit's going to be somewhere around 65, and then my longer one's going to be right around that gap area you see right here, which is about 62.25. And below you got the support coming in at about 50, I'd say 54 to 56 as a level of support. Took the opportunities yesterday on the long, and you can see how we gradually climbed from there on the upside move, and we finally got to hit our 73 during the London session. Again, I'll post that video after this one here so you guys can see the results. We did trade on oil. London session spooge trade took a little bit too long to capture one. Didn't get too much of an opportunity for an entry, so I'll post this up for you guys. But we got back up to 73, and then we started to fail that level with resistance, but we couldn't break below that midpoint, and then we pretty much pushed back up, right? So not to play the range or anything, but just to know if we can't get any lower and we start to create higher lows, then we're definitely going to break to the upside. So pretty sure that's what happened during the US session. It wasn't really in there to trade, but that was the opportunity there to kind of try to take long into 82. And then we could see that the market started to collapse back down to structured support. So again, we did get off 65, and we're trying to pull back into 73 to 75. If we can get that, then we will get an opportunity to try to short this if we can't break up above. But should be a good one. Just waiting it out, just trying to see exactly what we might get here. Let's move over to gold, see what we got so far on gold. Gold here, as you see, we're probably going to be moving up just a little bit on gold. We got some resistance coming in at about 76 to 70. What is that? 79? Yeah, 76 to 79 on gold for the first levels of resistance, which is pretty major levels of resistance. And then above that, you can see the market's peaked its head into 80 again. If I scroll this out, you guys can see what that kind of looks like. Zoom this chart in just a little bit, or zoom it out a little bit. You guys see this was a prior level of support, became resistance at 80, and we're trying to move back into that level, but we're holding 77 to 79 as a level of resistance right now. So more than likely markets will try to move. We're at a 76.7, so we should start to hit that area pretty soon. If we can't break above that area, then we can look to try to short it back down into 71. If we break below 71, then we're going to see some downside move into 68 to 64, right around this support area. So that's what we're looking for. Now, if we get back down into the support area, this is going to be a good opportunity to look to go long. Last night we had the same area as support. Again, you got your supports coming in right at about 66, and then resistance at about 77.3. So right now gold is up at 77 even. So if we hold some resistance here, we're going to look to try to short that back down into 71. Just noting that 1580 could be a potential move, or there could be a potential move into there before a stall out. So we'll keep that in mind. Let's take a look also at a 4-tick on gold so you guys can see what that kind of looks like as well. Moving over here so you guys see, we had some resistance coming in. You guys see that was resistance here, here, and also right over here. Popped above, came right back down, failed it, and pushed its way back down. Now, the reason we say we're going to try to gradually climb into 77 is you can see the movement. We broke above the resistance and created that as a level of support, right? So if that was a level of support off multiple rotations, you can see how that creates an opportunity to the long side, which is why we're actually at 77 right now. So 77.3 is going to be our first level of resistance. So if I actually scrunch this up and move it to the left, you guys can see this was a resistance here once, right? I'm going to try to draw some arrows. Oh, I got the arrows up. Resistance, resistance, and should act as resistance right in this area as well. So this should be a good opportunity. Now again, just like we said on that 10-tick, this 4-tick can show an opportunity to push into the 80s. Now if we do that, then that could be some pretty good strong resistance to look to try to short back down. But we'll have to see it rotate at these levels. And if we get some rotations at these levels of resistance rotations, then we'll try to short that back down into 72 to 70 even. So again, our first opportunity is this press into the 77, failure of that 77, and then an opportunity to try to press that back down to 72, and then below that 68 to 64 is the support. So we'll try that on gold, see if we can get that opportunity. Let's move over to oil here real quick, guys. Oil, we're going to do a quick analysis here too. So we got some slight support coming in right around 50.85 to 51.12, kind of a bigger zone there, and some resistance coming in 51.72 to 51.90. We'll clean this up on the 4-tick too, but that's right at the tops. We're kind of going to play this range, see where we get. We're not going to play in the middle. We're not going to really fiddle in that middle right there, but we're going to let the markets move into these areas. Now, if they move into these areas of resistance, then we're going to try to use that as some opportunity to try to short that back down if we can't break it. And same thing with the longs. If we get support coming in right at these areas, we're going to look for a long opportunity back up into the resistance and then above that. All right, so always keep in mind the bigger picture. We're still trying to push back up in this oil market, so we may even get a press into 52.65 if we break these 51.90s. But let's look at a 4 tick, show you guys what it looks like at a closer view. So again, we're kind of right in the middle of everything, moving around, chopping around. If I zoom out of this, you guys will be able to see where the midline is. So midline is like your 51.36. That's the middle level right there. All right, so markets came down, pressed below that into 51.12, found the support, and then we're right back up at 51.36. So again, we can and more than likely will probably get a push into that resistance above. So what we want to see is we came right back up. Notice how the market collapsed into strong support and found those rotations right at this area. 1, 2, 3 tries, failed that, came right back up. Right, so what we want to see is we want to see what was once resistance held as support right here. And if we get this support rotation, you can even look, if you want to play around in that middle, you can look to push that thing back into the resistances above, which is going to be between 51.80 to 51.90. But again, you're going to need to see some support. So given that the market is at 51.32, I would say hold off before you're looking to long that and let that thing bounce around a couple times for an opportunity long. So I want to honestly see it above 36, or at least rotating right at that area of 35 to 36, and then I'll be looking for a long opportunity if I'm going to try to trade right in that middle. All right, but best opportunities again are going to be to sell high and buy low. If we were to throw our studies up there and unhide that, you can see where the real volume thins out right here at the top, and the volume thins out right at the bottom with a previous day low right at the bottom over here as well. And you got an S1 below that. But if we're going to try anything, it's going to be best to take the opportunities in this green area or also in this red area, and maybe even attempt that R1 right there. Right, so that is what we got on that 4 tick for oil as well. If you look at studies also on gold, we'll take a look here on this one. We'll put up our studies, unhide these studies here so you guys can see what it kind of looks like. But just to show you guys where we're at, you can see we had some very thin volume right here, and we held that support right there. So we should see an upside move, and right where we're at 77.2, right at where we're at, that's going to be the overnight low, I believe. So if I take this little line off, 57.33 is going to be your overnight low. All right, so, and well, sorry, that's going to be your overnight high right at that area right over there. So 77.3, excuse me, is going to be your overnight high. So that's going to be another opportunity to qualify that trade to go back down. But again, you want to see some rotations to hold this level here at the overnight high and give you the opportunity to try to trade that to the downside. So we'll see if we can get that opportunity. Right now we're pressing 77.2, and we're trying to see if we can get some rotations there. If we can, then more than likely we'll see a push back down into 72 to 71, and maybe even a collapse back into the support below, or at least the point of control. Point of control being the magnet, so it can pull price towards it, because the point of control is basically where most traders are actually trading. So if there's very thin volume at the top, more than likely it will act as a magnet to pull price back down to it. All right, so we're going to try to trade off these edges today. Again, 77 is the area that we're looking for some rotation. So we'll see what we get, and if we can get some opportunities to short that, especially during the London session. Now we'll take a look also at S&P, throw up some studies there for you guys to see with the studies up what it looks like. So unhide these studies here, and you guys can see here, if I were to zoom in this just a little bit, where we held that support. So we held that support right in thin volume, S1 right below, and overnight low being right at about 69 right now. So we'll see what we get. Bouncing around 33.70, wanting to get it between 73 to 75, right where you got this cluster, with a point of control at about 78. So it could potentially push right into this level and then come back down. So we'll see how it reacts, see if we can even get it back up into that area. And if we can, then we'll look for some short opportunities off that. So that's what we're looking for. If we can get it back down to 65 to 62 and maybe even down to about 55 to 56 will be another good opportunity to look to try to take some longs. But that's what we got so far, guys, on our analysis for the London session. Again, I don't really use too much studies, but just to post them up so you guys can see them, I'll hide them so it looks like a little bit more clear stuff. But yes, we want to see that pullback in S&P. But again, guys, that's what we got so far on oil, also on S&P, and also on gold. Thank you all for tuning in. If you guys like this, hit the like button, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop in at TRADEPROAcademy.com. Always willing to teach you guys. That's what you guys want to learn, how to trade. And again, if you have any questions, you can email me too at david@TradeProAcademy.com. You guys take care. Have a good night.